Hey there, Robert Ferringo with Doc Sports. I have a Gambling 360 podcast for you today. We're going to be looking at Thursday night's action in the NFL preseason. Be sure to check me out at www.docsports.com. That's docsports.com. I'm going to be releasing my full card of NFL preseason games tonight. And you can throw in Jason Sharp, Doc Sports, the Vegas Sports Informer. We are all very excited to have some preseason NFL action. You can pick up a full preseason package for any one of those handicappers I just mentioned. Strike Point Sports will have picks in weeks 2 and 3, but you can get whichever handicapper you like. You can get their picks for $49. That's 3 weeks of preseason action. I personally have posted 5 of 6 profitable Augusts over the last 6 years, and I'm looking forward to doing another one. I hit the total but missed the side in the Hall of Fame game, and I'm looking forward to being able to kind of stretch out this weekend and have some plays in 5 or 6 of the games going this week. So I wanted to take a look at tonight's game, the preseason games for Thursday. I'm going to try and do this. Like I said, it's a Gambling 360, so once I start my analysis, I'm going to try and have everything wrapped up within 6 minutes. I don't know if that's going to happen today. I get a little long-winded, but here we go. First game, Baltimore at Tampa Bay. It's just one of those axioms in gambling that you always want to bet against the Super Bowl winner in their first preseason game the next year. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that's a tried and true system. The simple fact of it is the last time that Baltimore was on the field, they were playing in the confetti game, playing down in New Orleans in the Super Bowl. To go from that to a week 1 preseason game down in Tampa Bay, that's the letdown of all letdowns, so I don't expect them to be super sharp. That said, John Harbaugh is 13-7 against the spread in the preseason. He's actually been a pretty solid preseason coach. That's one of the main things that you have to look for in handicapping these preseason games is how seriously do the coaches take these games. Greg Schiano is a college coach. He's kind of a tough guy. He's kind of a rah-rah guy, and college coaches, I noticed, tend to take these preseason games a little bit more seriously, so I don't expect either one of these coaches to have their teams ready to lay down. I know that Tyrod Taylor is a preseason all-star, and the Ravens are going to go with him and Caleb Haney after their starting quarterback, Joe Flacco, sits, and that's a pretty good rotation for them. Tampa Bay is going with Mike Glennon and Dan Orlovsky. Once the starters get out, we might see a little bit of Adam Weber as well. The main thing in this game that I'm looking at is that it's supposed to be raining. Thunderstorms in Florida, so we'll see how that impacts the side and the total. The second game that's going on Thursday is Washington at Tennessee. In one of my other videos today, I actually have a 1-minute winner. I have a selection on the total in this game. As for the general game breakdown, we got Mike Shanahan in the preseason. There is no better bet in football than Mike Shanahan in the preseason. The guy is 49-23 against the spread in the preseason. I was really surprised to see that Washington is an underdog in this game just for the simple fact that it's Mike Shanahan and all he does is cover the spread in the preseason. So we'll see how that works out. Maybe it's because RG3 is going to sit. But again, starters don't play very much in week 1 anyway, so I don't know how much of an impact that's going to have. Or maybe it's just that the books know that less RG3 and less Kirk Cousins, who will be getting starters reps, means more Rex Grossman. And, I mean, that's fun for the whole family. That guy's terrible. So, once again, terrible weather in this game. There's a 100% chance of rain in Nashville. So, we're going to see what that does for the game plans and for the defense. Tennessee is a 3-point favorite. As I mentioned, the total in this one is 35.5. The next game that I'm looking at is St. Louis at Cleveland. Cleveland, a healthy 4-point home favorite in this game. And the Browns, this is a big game for them. It's week 1 of the preseason, but it's a new regime. They got a new coach, some new coordinators, trying to drum up some new excitement for Rob Chudzinski, so I think that they might be taking this game a little bit more seriously than St. Louis. That's probably why they're the big favorites. I know last year in Jeff Fisher's first preseason game with St. Louis, they got absolutely destroyed by Indianapolis 38-3. Fisher's been a pretty average NFL preseason bet. He's 33-27 against the spread in his career, and he's actually a decent 13-8 against the spread in his last 5 years. St. Louis is really young, though, so what's Fisher going to do? Is he going to play the rookies and the young guys a little bit more, play his starters in his second unit a little bit more to get him some experience in this game? If they do, maybe that's advantage St. Louis. They are going with Austin Davis, Kellen Clemens, and Tim Jenkins. Those will be their backups after Sam Bradford exits stage left. That's not a very endearing group, Davis, Clemens, and Jenkins. Cleveland has 3 veteran quarterbacks, though. Whedon, obviously the starter, he's going to sit. Then they go with Jason Campbell and Brian Hoyer, 2 NFL veterans. They've been down this road before, and that gives Cleveland a big advantage. And then you add in the fact that Campbell and Hoyer are kind of in a quarterback battle to see who's going to be Whedon's backup. And Whedon is a super shaky starter anyway, so the guy that wins the battle for the backup quarterback job really is a good situation as far as potentially seeing some action this year. So all that quarterback uncertainty is actually a benefit to Cleveland because we should see some focused quarterback play. The next game I'm looking at is Cincinnati at Atlanta. Atlanta is favored in this one, but to me this is kind of a throwaway game. I know Atlanta, just being in the Atlanta area, I know that they're not taking this preseason game super serious. Mike Smith is just 7-13 against the spread in the preseason, and they have gone 1-7 against the spread in the last 2 years. That's Atlanta. Last year, what we saw with the Falcons is that their first team came in and would just wreck people. When their first unit was going up against opposing first units, they were just thrashing people. But then once they pulled the starters, their lack of depth was exposed, and Atlanta choked away a lot of preseason leads last year and just didn't cover very many numbers last year. So that makes me real leery of jumping on Atlanta. Cincinnati, Marvin Lewis, perfectly average. He's 20-21 against the spread in his career in the preseason, so there's nothing to be gleaned from him. Cincinnati might be a little tougher, a little deeper. We'll see how seriously they're taking this game. Interesting tidbit that I looked up, researched, and found out. Teams that are on Hard Knocks, which Cincinnati is again this year, have gone 1-6 against the spread in their first preseason game. The only team that covered the spread that was on Hard Knocks in their first game was 2002 with Dallas. The last 5 teams, Kansas City, Dallas, Cincinnati, the Jets, and Miami, they didn't cover the spread. They went 0-5 combined in their Week 1 preseason game. I don't know what that's worth, but I thought it was worth sharing. Next game is Denver at San Francisco. I'm just kind of throwing this game out. I know this is a potential Super Bowl matchup, so even though neither team's going to show much, I'm sure in the back of their heads, both of the coaches have that in their minds, so they aren't going to want to show too much. They're not going to play the starters very much. Who knows? John Fox used to be a great preseason bet. When he was with Carolina from 2003 to 2006, John Fox teams went 14-2 against the spread in the preseason. He was money. But since then, his teams have gone 8-16 against the spread. That's a major regression there. And he might be adopting a little bit of the Peyton Manning mentality when it comes to the preseason, which is, who cares? The final game on the board tonight is Seattle at San Diego. I think San Diego is a small 2.5-point favorite in this game. The total is set at 35.5. Pete Carroll for Seattle has been a real solid bet in the preseason. Seattle went 4-0 last year. And again, college coach, they tend to take these games a little bit more seriously, like they're beating up on some FCS team back at USC. We have a new coach for San Diego, Mike McCoy. I don't know much about this guy. I don't know what he's going to be like as a head coach. I don't know what his approach to the preseason is going to be. I know that new coaches, first-year coaches, or coaches in their first game with a new team, they like to go out and make a statement, set that winning tone, impress the ownership group, all that good stuff. So, maybe Mike McCoy will take that route. I know that Seattle has one of the best quarterback rotations in the NFL. They have Russell Wilson, Tavares Jackson, and Brady Quinn. Tavares Jackson and Brady Quinn are losers in the regular season when they have to play big-time football. But as far as backup quarterbacks go in preseason games, these are guys with starting NFL experience. So you get a guy like Brady Quinn that has plenty of starts and lots of experience under his belt going against a bunch of third and fourth stringers. That's a big benefit for Seattle. And their deep quarterback rotation last year is part of the reason why they did so well in the preseason. So another thing that I noticed is that Seattle, under Pete Carroll, has been a very high-scoring team in the preseason. There's been an average of 39.8 points per game scored in Pete Carroll's 12 preseason games over the last 3 years. So I'm going to be factoring that in as to whether or not I make a play on the total in this game. So that's it. That's Thursday's action. How'd I do for 6 minutes? No, I wasn't even close. We're approaching 10 minutes here. So I'm going to exit stage left. Carpe diem, and good luck.